Hello, friends. Welcome again. I'm quite excited to start a new playlist, and this is for SQL interview questions. And I will be covering all the problems which are there on LeetCode. As you know, LeetCode is one of the very famous platforms where we have all the questions which are asked in Amazon, Google, and any top notch company. And a lot of students have requested me that, Sumit sir, can you please come up with such a series where you can solve LeetCode questions? So I thought of, okay, why not just go ahead with that? And this can be really very, very beneficial for you because these are the most frequently asked questions. So if you can see my screen, this is how LeetCode website looks in. You just need to say sign in, and you can sign in via Google or Gmail. So for example, you see this and you sign in via your Gmail. It can be any of your Gmail account and you will be logged in. Now there is a free account and there is a premium account. When we talk about premium, I'll just show that how exactly that looks. So if you see after logging in through your Gmail, this is how it looks like. And you can go to problems. And in problems, we are interested in SQL problems. So you need to click on database, right? Database. And we can see a lot of problems here if you can check. Now, the difference between free account and the paid account is you can see some of the questions are free and some of the questions will be only eligible for premium account. You can see these are locked. So, in my case, when I reach till this point, I will be paying for the premium subscription so that I can solve the problems for you. You do not have to take premium, it's fine. You can just see and practice on your own on your own local ID or somewhere. That's fine. But right now, let's not worry about premium account. We are good to go with a free account for now. And you can see these are named like this. 175 question is combined two tables, 176 second highest salary, and so on. It also shows that among the people who have solved, what is the acceptance rate of their solutions, and it categorizes each question in three levels: easy, medium, and hard, right? And we will try to solve all kind of those. Now if I see here frequency, right? Frequency with which these questions are asked in interviews. If we go for premium, then only it will be unlocked. Right now, we do not see it. That's totally fine. And on each page, you can see 50 questions, and there are four such pages. If you can see here, there are four such pages. That means roughly 200 questions are there, and we will try to solve most of them. Over next few days, and I would try to have 2 to 3 videos every week. Some of the video might just have one question, and some of the videos might have more than one when the question is easy, right? So I would want each video to be at least 10 minutes or more. If I feel the video size is less, I will try to cover more questions there. But I will try to be very consistent with this and I will follow it religiously. Let's see how it goes. So let's start. Let me go back to the first page and I will start with the problem number 175. Now, just to let you know, when we talk about, let's say, problem 175, 176, there won't be any link between the problems. So, even if you check my fifth video in this series, you can just see that independently without worrying about the first four. Right? So, this is one good part that there is no dependency on the previous videos here. So let us start, and I hope this will be quite interesting series for you because most of you would really want to master SQL, and SQL is super important when you go for a web development interview or you go for a data engineering interview or you go for a data scientist interview. Anything, be it whatever, SQL plays a major role these days and super critical thing. So let's start our journey with this interesting thing. Now, when I have clicked on this problem 175, I will say we are solving problem 175 and the name of it is combine two tables. I'll write it here. Okay. So this is the problem we are going to solve in this case. Now what does it say? The description of it, you can see. It says that there is a person table with columns person ID, last name, first name. There are three columns in this table, and each column has a data type like int, varchar, that's fine. Now person ID is primary key, that's what it says. And we have a secondary table or second table which is address, in which there are these columns, and address ID is the primary key. One thing to note, that person ID, which is the primary key in persons table, is the foreign key in address table. So you can check that out. Address ID is the primary key. Each row of this table contains information about the city and state of one person ID equal to person ID. So I hope you understand that one important thing, that person ID is the primary key in which table? Person table, and in address table person ID is the foreign key, the foreign key in address table, right? This is something that you have to understand. Fine. Now what do we require? What do we have to find? We have to find this thing. That means given these two tables as input, person table and address table, we want output as this. How do we achieve it? How do we achieve this output? Now you can see in the output table, we want first name, last name, right? City and state. City and state is from second table. Last name and first name is from the first table. That means we have to join two tables. This is very, very clear because we need columns from both the tables here, right? So we have to join both the tables. Based on what column should we join? What is the join column between the two? It is person ID because person ID is the common column. So we need to join the two tables based on the common column. And what's the name of common column? It is the person ID column. Person ID. This is the column. Now one important thing that you have to note, there is no address in the address table for person ID 1. If you can check here, that this person ID 1, there is no address for person ID. Do you see any address? No. In that case, Ellen Wang, it is still available in the output, but with null on the right side. This clearly indicates that we should not lose out the information from person table, even if it does not have a valid match in address table, right? If there is a person whose address is not present in address table, then also we want to get the output for that, and the address can show null. That's perfectly fine. But otherwise, if you see, there is this third person ID in the address table, which was not there in person table. We are not getting that in the output. We are not getting that in the output. You can see this very, very well. So the output only contains rows from person table which have a match and which do not have a match. But the output does not contain something from address table which does not have a match. You can clearly sense that out. So what does this indicate? What does this indicate? What kind of join do we want to have? Is it an inner join, left outer join, or a right outer join? I would say in this case, we should go for a left outer join because in a left outer join, we get all the records from the left table which have a matching record in the right table. Plus, we get all the records from left table which do not have a match also in the right table, right? And that's what the current scenario tells us. So how do we write such a query? Let us see. Let's start writing. So we have to say, first of all, we want first name, last name, city and state, right? So select all the keywords. We should type in caps on. Ideally, I do not follow this practice, but it's always a recommended and a good practice, right? So select first name, last name, city. I'll just copy from here. Select first name, last name, city, right? Sorry, city and state, right? These are the columns we want. From from which table? We have two tables, right? Person and address. From person, from person, join address, right? These are the two tables. What is the condition which we have to place on what column? On person. I'll just copy this. On person dot person id, person dot person id, if you can check this, equal to address dot person id. This is the matching column in the, or common column in the two tables. Now in this case we are doing a inner join, if you can sense, right? And this is not what we wanted. Let me try running it and it will not work, or it will say wrong answer. You can see this, right? It shows me wrong answer because the output expected was something else and what we are getting is something else. I hope this is clear. Expected was, you can see this, that when there is not a match we want those things with null values, but in our case it has eliminated the non-matching records. We only get matching records, and that is the property of an inner join. So I should use the keyword left join, and ideally I should mention it in uppercase, left join, right? Now this should definitely work if we have not done anything wrong. Let me show you that, right? So when we say run code, it basically runs with limited set of test cases which are there shown in the problem. But if you want to run it against multiple other test cases which are hidden test cases, right? Then you have to click on submit. Might be sometimes when you say run code it works, but when you say submit it will fail for some of the test cases. So let me click on submit now, and you can see this has worked. And I have got it answered. It ran in 381 milliseconds, faster than 57%. You do not have to worry too much because if you run it again, this number might suddenly be different because it depends on system speed and lot of other aspects. Let me run it again. Earlier it was showing 57%, right? Now 68%, and suddenly it can say 85% also. So as long as it is accepting your result, it is fine, right? Let me run it again. So this number automatically changes because it depends on a lot of other factors. You can see it. So do not worry about this number that, oh, why 25% of the people have done better than me. Does not mean that actually, right? So I'm just writing this here so that you can have a look. Select first name, last name, city, state from person, left join address on person.person id equal to address.person id. And why left outer join? Because we want to make sure that if there is no matching record on the right table, we still do not want to lose information from the left table, right? That means all the non-matching records from the left table will be having nulls on the right side. I hope this is clear. Let me just show you one thing here. So let me go to this and try to showcase you with a diagram. So just give me a moment. I'll draw a diagram here for the joins. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay. So now let me show you. When we talk about, let's say, uh, inner join, consider this is your table 1 and this is your table 2, right? This is T1 and this is, let's say, T2. Now, when we talk about a inner join, we only talk about this shaded region. That means only the matching records will be given to you. And that is what a inner join is. But when we talk about a left outer join, we are trying to say even we want these records, the non-matching records which are on the left table. Because T1 is your left table and T2 is your right table. So we are saying even we want to get the non-matching records or from the table 1 which do not have a match in the T2, right? And when we talk about, let's say, right outer join, we will of course get the matching records plus non-matching records from the right table. This is a right outer join. Right outer join. I hope this is clear. So one thing I can show you here, just as a change for your reference, we could have changed the positions of both the tables. That means whatever I have kept on the left side, I can keep it on the right side. For example, from, I would say, address on the this thing, address, and person I would move on the right. Join person. You can see I have interchanged the position. Whatever was my left table now is the right table. And whatever was the right table is now the left table. Now on person dot person ID equal to address dot person ID, that is fine. But now in this case I have to say right join. Right join. And it would give me exactly the same results as earlier. Let me just go back and try running this. Rightly, if I have done it well, it should give me the same results. Let's see. You can see it is accepted. But if it is accepted, does not mean your solution is correct. You have to say submit so that it can go through other test cases which are hidden. And you can see this has worked. Right? So I hope this is a good start for us. You have understood that in such a scenario, you have to go with left outer join or right outer join based on the scenario, whatever it is. And we have successfully solved this problem. And this problem description is given in the description part of it. If you want to see what solution is recommended and all, then you can see it here, and it would be mostly the same solution, can be different also. And there is a lot of other discussion going on where people are talking about their solution because it's a community, right? Then you can just go through. There is a discussion forum also which you can definitely have a look, and submissions is the page where we submit it. So I think with this we are good, and I will come up with the next question in the next video. And I would certainly say I'll be consistent with this, and I will at least answer 3 questions every week. At least. It can be more, but I will make sure at least 3 every week for the next few weeks. For the next at least 4 to 6 weeks, assume that or safely assume that I will come up with at least 3 questions every week. I promise you that, right? And this will be a very interesting journey. SQL is the most important thing. So make sure you focus on it. And lead code is something very trending. and would have the best questions possible, I believe. Right? So, this is the best way to prepare for our interviews. And every question I'll try to showcase multiple approaches. Just like in this, I showcased you that how a left outer join or even a right outer join could have worked. Inner join has not worked. Right? I'll try to come up with as many approaches as possible, and even we'll talk about what can be the optimized approach and things like that. So with this, let's end the session. But before that, let me ask you, please subscribe to this channel and do mention in comments if you enjoyed this video, and if you have any specific queries or specific interview questions you want me to tackle, do mention in the comments. I will try my best to cover those in upcoming days. Right? I hope you like the session, and let me end this. Thanks a lot.